Hey, I'm going to get this started. Welcome to Module 2, video, OGL 343. I'm having some lighting. It's really bright outside, as it usually is in Phoenix. It is Monday, May 23rd at about 11:07 a.m. I am a day late, I grant you, on this one. I usually like to get them out late Sunday afternoon. I just had some things come up yesterday and wasn't feeling as prepared as I like to be. So thank you. I had a couple people email me. I'm glad you were on the ball looking for it. So just know that I do shoot these live. We're going to do it live and post them individually. There's a yawn for each class, for each course section I do. So you could go back and look at old ones, but don't do that because they're old ones, right? All right, let's talk about random things for now. Sometimes I zero out an assignment that's late. Uh, it's basically for a couple reasons. One is to kind of light a fire to find out if you were going to do it. Maybe you slipped your mind. Maybe that zero will get your attention. Um, and if not, either way, that's fine. But the zero does then accurately more reflect your points, your score, your grade level at that time. Uh, Remember, you have up to 3 days to submit assignments. So even if there's a zero, you can still submit it. And that's excluding quizzes and discussion board responses, okay? So those need to be in by the due date. Now, what was I going to say about that? No, that's about it. So let me just general guidelines. I'm telling this to both my classes. These are not self-paced courses. I get it that there are a lot of self-paced courses out there. That doesn't mean I'm still going to sit here and tell you when to go this way, go that way. But it is a cautionary advice towards not getting too far ahead. I mean, that's kind of a novel problem for me to have, students getting too far ahead, because I think your grades are going to start to suffer when you get that far ahead for various reasons. But so it's up to you, of course, but it is not a self-paced class in that route, and it's not a race to the finish line either. So it's up to you. Certainly, sometimes you got to get more done because you know you got something coming up. So that's fine. I want to talk about formatting as we get into this, especially after seeing the first short essays. Um, my fault. I don't have it anywhere. I can't assume that I would have, but I don't have some of the formatting guidelines that I require. One being Times New Roman 12-point font. Some of you gave me 11s. I don't like 11s. I want, I mean, Bobby Millie Brown is that 11? Is she an 11 on that Stranger Things? Um, but no, she's 7 or 11. Oh, now I'm losing it. Okay, so Times New Roman 12-point font. Trust me, it's not going to be your default for Word. It's probably going to be Calibri 11 or something. Make it, just make sure you use Times New Roman 12. Make sure your paragraph indents, just tab in once. Tab once. Okay, and I'm talking about, this is on Word docs. You tab in once to make your paragraph indents consistent. You don't do one space, you don't do 12 spaces, 3 spaces, 5 spaces, be consistent. Presentation is appreciated. Paragraph indents. Thus, that being said, what do paragraph indents need? They need paragraphs. So make sure, no matter what your length of your paper is, if it's like 300 words or more, there should be more than one paragraph there, people. Just try to make it so your reader can understand when you're changing course on something that way. It's very important to be able to write that way. Another thing, I know I'm going to ask you in a lot of these essays to give me your own personal experiences. And of course, that requires for you to write I or me or us in our team that we have. Okay, we did this in our team, whatever. That's okay. But what I'm going to advise you to do as a pro tip in your academic writing is to try to avoid using pronouns. You can't avoid using pronouns when I ask you to use pronouns and talk about yourself, but other papers and discussions, things where it doesn't, your opinion does not matter. And there's many classes like that, and there should be, okay? avoid using yourself. Avoid the royal we. The royal we is this. Hi, I'm Queen Elizabeth, the royal we. Well, we're pleased to see you. You know what I mean? The royal we. You don't have a team behind you, um, which is kind of a pun right there. Did I say that? Because this is about teams. So if you are talking about a team that's literally we, you need to use the we, that's fine. But if you're putting we in for I, that's no good. Okay? And if you're just putting in I just to break your opinion and things like that in an academic scholarly paper, no, we don't need that. Okay, try not to. In fact, my IDS 302, if any of you have taken that, you know that I do not even allow pronouns to be used. When you're talking about you as the researcher, you say the current researcher. Talk about the research project, you don't say my research, you say the current research project. Anyways, that's what I want to talk about that. As far as I think that was let me go to the grade book here. Um, the short essays were good. Um, as I mentioned before in this class, I kind of revamped this course. I gutted it. I did everything but change the text because in the end, if I use the text right, I think it's good. Previous courses were not using the text right. And as I was dropped into this in the fall, I've just been getting my bearings to know how I'd like to have it. So that's why I've chosen these kind of like 2 chapters a week instead of reading the whole book. There's just a lot in here. And as you see, there's a lot of bolded topics. There's a lot of bolded terms in this book, right? A lot of them. So that's why I put in the instructions to bold your usage of text terminology and concepts. Does it make me lazy? You could say that because I can see them a lot clearer. But I'll miss them if they're just same color and I gotta read that thing with fine tooth comb. It's your job, man. Yeah, I know it's my job. But I'm just asking you to bold the terms because that way I know that you know what you're doing then. Because I want you to feel comfortable in assimilating these terms into your consciousness so that they're part of your vocabulary and your conception of teamwork as you advance in your careers. And you have a word for it now. You have a word for this concept or this concept, and that's important. And by you using those in your short essays, that's the point of me having those short essays. I don't want to hear stories about your personal experience without a single damn thing from the text. Okay? I want to see how you've implemented and integrated those terms and concepts into your experience. Okay, kind of the best way of both worlds, because we all like to talk about ourselves and our experience. Lord knows I do, experience and work and things like that. We all like learning things too, so we're trying to put those together, right? It's kind of like, if you're a photographer, and you're out there and I got my DSLR right there. I can pull it out, but I'm too lazy to get up. My Nikon is there, and I've had Nikon since the 80s. And, you know, you're taking pictures, and all of a sudden you get to these aha moments, right? You understand what aperture is. Not only understand it, but you know how you're using it, aperture and shutter speed, right? And filters and whatever else you do. And then when you are developing, because we used to develop our film, you don't know this, but we used to go to these kiosks, give it to a 1 hour photo, whatever, take the pictures, you wait to get them, you're like, oh, this is awesome. And you use different types of film for different reasons, Ektachrome, Kodachrome, slide films, things. So you continue to advance in your knowledge of the field that you're in. I knew he was going to call me while I was doing this. Stand by. Hey, Marty.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, can you call me back?
Oh, sure. I'm just on my walk.
I knew you were. I'm doing a live video. You're on live with my class.
Oh, excellent. Hi,
Yeah,
class.
yeah. I'm gonna post this a little bit. So, but I do it live. Damn it. So yeah, call me back, or I'll give you a holler when I'm done. It won't be long.
Sure.
All right. See you.
Okay,
bye. Sorry, kids. Sorry, guys. Sorry, gals. Sorry, men and women. Should I just scrap this whole thing? What am I, 10 minutes in? Oh, see, I like my friends. What they do is they back home from my homeland in Wisconsin. They give me these wellness checks. They know I'm alone with no social life. I have my son and that. They give me these. We call the friend group calls us wellness checks on Mike. They're the only ones that get to call me Mike. Okay, so the opening essays were good overall, and I made a couple deals with people where, hey, email me that you saw this, that you know what I'm talking about, and then I'll give you full points. Good, they did. Remember this, people. I didn't put this in there. I'm going to just say it. I didn't deduct anybody for it. No cover pages. I do not want any cover pages in this class. There's nothing so important. If you're in my 302, yeah, you got to do a cover page on your final 40-page research paper, which, by the way, don't let that scare you. Every student I have is like, damn, that was the greatest paper I ever wrote in my college life. So get that there. Now, oh, by the way, the intro discussion boards, very nice. I really was happy. It's like 3/4 of my class lives in the state of Washington or wants to move there. I don't know why. No, that could be from both classes. And I am, of course, being hyperbolic and exaggerating. I have a lot of Starbucks baristas. I like it. We have a Dutch Brothers barista. Shout out to Emma. Local kid makes good. All right, and everybody else, I like hearing about your businesses that you're in. I like hearing about your career. I like that you introduce yourself and you engage other students, because online can be so kind of distant and isolating. But I find my online students to be invested in their careers, in their progress, in their learning, and they're doing what they can, how they can do it, and that's great. Okay. Um, Let me see where else I'm going here. Uh, do, 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 do. What is that? Anyways, okay. Oh, I think the discussion board feedback, learning about teams and teamwork and team dynamics, because we had the intro, and then we had the other discussion that was about designing a team, right? It was why are you taking this course, things like that. Found that to be really interesting, and I just wanted to say, if you haven't looked into classes like OGL 300 or OGL 350, some of you may have had them, some of you may have had it with me already, I don't know, but they're great courses. I like them. I like the way I teach them, at least. I've never taken anybody else. But OGL 350 is diversity in organizations. OGL 300 is leadership, practice, and theory. I think they're really good, and they just advance your knowledge on leadership, that you can come in and you know what you're looking at because you've seen it. Okay, you've learned it. Anyways, why did I put wing it for Easter eggs here? Oh no, there it is. Who writes my material? Oh, okay, discussion boards. I don't want to freak anybody out, but let me go to the discussion board due dates. Wake up, people. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. No, I didn't write it in here anyways. One of my classes, I do have it. This one, I don't. So I got to go back and rescore people. Gosh darn it. I'd like you to try to get your main post in a day early. Okay. I'm not going to make it a requirement, but I want you to consider everybody in the class needing to reply to two people, and they're all doing it on the same day. And if they haven't posted yet, you don't have nobody to reply to it. I'll just wait till people reply. Then I can post mine and reply to everybody. Well, if everybody thought that way, we wouldn't be able to get any responses because we wouldn't have enough people. You'd have to kind of check it out, and people would be jamming them in at 11:30 at night. Just try to get your initial post in earlier. As we go through the class, though, there's only going to be one discussion per module. Get your main post in. Try to get it in by Thursday. And then your responses on Friday or early Friday. Okay, help me out here. That'd be great. And again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Um, so I just let me just say I understand the discussion board logic. How's that? That's your Easter egg number one. I understand the discussion board logic. That logic being that you can't respond to anybody if they don't have any main posts up. So you get your main post up so people can respond, right? So that's just say, I understand the discussion board logic. You don't have to explain it, right? Okay, so for the readings, my God, that was 15 minutes. Everything took way too long. For the readings, Oh, I was highlighting away here. I always read everything again in every semester for every course. Leading Teams, Chapter 3. It's approximately 31 pages. And I think you'll find it so interesting. Um, Thinking about leadership versus management. Now, I can't sit here and pontificate and lecture about everything here like I could in an hour and a half class or 2 hour class twice a week, what have you. This is more, here's where we get into the self paced stuff. You have to learn a lot of this on your own. I'm here as your backup, but I want to highlight things like the leadership paradox. I had never heard of the leadership paradox. Something to consider, though. And frankly, in a nutshell, it's the fact that the best teams don't need a leader, but you can't have a best team without a leader. It's kind of like that kind of thing there. Okay. I actually was, okay, leaders and the nature nurture debate. Okay. So, I mean, can you be a born leader? Can you be a learned leader, grow into a leader? Well, of course you can. Okay. Um, there's different types of subjects here: gender and leadership, incremental theories of leadership. Then we get into leadership styles. There's plenty of these here, and you'll find these, like I said, in some other courses. I want to point out page 60, especially here, is transactional versus transformational leadership. Okay, transactional leadership would be kind of like, I'm a sergeant in the cell block or the dorms area, and I'm telling my officers, okay, we can get through the night without any, major emergency. If we can get through the night without this or that, and blah blah blah, then everybody gets an extra hour overtime. Some reward. You know what I mean? So it's kind of carrot and a stick. That's transactional. You do this for me, I do this for you. Transformational is me as a sergeant going in there and talking to some new officers and saying, okay, here's a little case issue that we ran into at a particular time. And such happened. This happened. This is how we responded. This is why we could have done better. This is how we did better. And anyways, you're teaching them, you're transformational. You're transforming them to better yawners. Okay. That's an important aspect. And of course, we touch on Jim Jones in here. I grew up knowing about Jim Jones. I was 19 when this happened, and it was pretty nasty down in Guyana. And that's where the term they drank the Kool-Aid comes from. Are you drinking the Kool-Aid? It's kind of like if you're in a cult or something. Page 64 is important because there's one, two, three, four, five different leadership types. And again, it's not an exclusive list here. There's plenty of types, but here you've got aversive leadership, directive leadership, transactional, transformational, empowering. They're different types with the behaviors there. It's important to see that. Then you got leader mood, okay? We've all seen it, and I've been there, where, I mean, some days I got to be honest, I'm a human. I grade papers, and I'm like, I'm not in a good mood. Damn it, I got to take it out on you. No, if you ever have any issue with how I scored your paper, anything, please let me know. Please let me know. Um, then you've got a nice page on character with pictures. George Washington, characteristics and skills of expected leaders. That's a good one. Now, LMX, leader member exchange, very important. That's again a big part of the OGL 300, but it's good to know a leader member exchange. It's a model that focuses on the relationships that leaders have and develop with particular subordinates. Okay, there's advantages to differential treatment. All right, which you disadvantages also, of course. Well, they treat him so good and me so crappy. I get it. I get treated crappy all the time. Then you got the concept of power. In case it's not that it's in here, but there's power versus force. I have a book there that says power versus force, and how much better it is power and how not good force is. Okay, first. All right, and there's whole different subtopics on power here. It really there's a lot in here, Read the chapter capstone for sure. It's the little paragraph just to get a summary there. Then you'll get into chapter 4. And remember, you got these readings coming up. Get them done sooner than later and highlight or whatever you can do on the ebook, what have you. Chapter 4 is team cohesion and trust, and it's about 27 pages long. It gets into group entativity. So it's a weird word, group entativity. All right. It refers to the degree to which people perceive themselves and others to be unified, single team. There's some important things here because you'll get into the quiz, and I'm not trying to trick anybody, but I rewrote these quizzes, and I feel that anyone that's done the reading, understands the material, can get it, okay? You don't have to memorize it because I give you enough time to look it up to figure out where that is. You got about 4 minutes per question, okay? So, you can read about this NASA case study here. Talks about group identity, identity fusion, team member exchange. That's a TMX. We just talked about LMX. Now TMX is a team member exchange, right? Okay, so getting into here, a lot of things about results, emotional contagion. Yeah, whereby moods and emotions of people around us influence our emotional state. You are doggone right. So I like getting calls from my friends. They can get me in a better mood. Sometimes I'm just the grumpiest old man, and they're older than me. Um, by the way, speaking of that, can't show you my nest out there of mourning doves. Besides the whole damn balcony being a biohazard right now, I'm gonna have to throw away the antique stand I got out there and everything. It's just nasty. They're getting so big they don't fit in the ashtray anymore. Yeah, they're using an ashtray for a nest. They got to fly away any day now. I hope so, because Thursday is my birthday, and I'm sitting outside. And I want to enjoy it, but I'll go somewhere else, I guess, if they're not gone. Um, let's see. So we're going into group cohesion. So there's a lot about the team cohesion in here, okay? And trust. You got to have that trust, right? You got to have trust in your members of your team. And many of you that are Starbucks baristas talked about your teams at Starbucks in these terms a lot about how that works out, okay? Boring. No. And then it gets to the end. There's a capstone again. Okay, so that's your chapter. That's your readings, right? Easter egg number 2: take notes, highlight, and learn. Take notes, highlight, and learn is Easter egg number 2. Just wants you to get the most out of this, so give it the time that it needs, right? So then we get into your module 2 discussion, and that is going to look at chapter 3 specifically. It intends to add to your skill set on leading teams, okay, including types, characteristics of leaders, blah, blah, blah. For this discussion worth up to 40 points, address the following. I do wrote here, post your main post at least a day before the due date. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, think of a leader you've encountered in your life. Describe them using terms from the chapter. Think about what type of leader resonates with you best. What are the qualities you look for? And again. All the above prompts should include terms and concepts from chapter 3. Please bold them. I'm looking for approximately 1 to 150 words per prompt, and then respond to 2 of your teammates. Okay, that's simple. That's your discussion. Now for the quiz, I can preview it. I can sit here and take it again, but I'm going to give you a hint here. We're getting into team design. Based on Xerox customer service teams. I think that's in there. Question 2 revolves again around optimal size of team members. Question here about interdependence of a team. And 2 answer question, for example, Girl Scouts selling cookies and assembly line workers. There talks about interdependence. Okay, high levels of task interdependence. Talks about, according to the Hackman and Wegman theory of team coaching. Also talks about leaders who are most likely to be effective at transformational leadership tend to have what qualities? People with high sense of identity fusion with their group are less likely to blank. Groups with a strong sense of collective efficacy will blank. Why is emotional team intelligence so important? And newcomers to a team can take initiative by demonstrating what? That's your quiz. Yeah, see? Aren't you glad I did that? Told you we're all in this together. Oh, maybe I didn't tell this class that. Okay. All right, so let me move on to the, because this is more of our consistent pattern. Discussion board, quiz. Discussion board due Friday, quiz due Saturday, short essay due Sunday for up to 50 points. This refers, folks, it's on page 94 to 107 in chapter 4. I want you to choose any 4 terms or concepts in there. There's tons of them. List them 1 to 4 in your paper. Discuss them in terms of, I have some questions there. All right. So I think that should do it. I got here, it should be Times New Roman, 12-point font, double line spaced. You shouldn't have to use quotes. If you do, you need to cite it in text and you need to make work cited. If you're just using terms and concepts, you don't have to cite those, okay? And you're going to be using 4 of them, right? So that's going to be due Sunday the 29th, worth 50 points. Crushing it. That's good stuff, huh? So I think we can wrap this up. I want to get these babies posted, and I still got one more to do. So let me give you Easter egg number 3. And this is what I'd like you to do for the discussion board and the essays. Easter egg number 3 is bold the terms from the text. Okay? Like I said, that helps me to know that you know. I like that. Okay? Forks up. Peace.